you're on a win streak right now, and I need to ride this gravy train to,
I mean, I was on bed. I got really lucky with me, Rachel, Tracy, and Pat were on a cruise. I ended up winning a raffle on that too.
wait, how long ago was this?
Um, Year and a half.
Okay, cool. That's outside the scope. All right, cool. So let's see. You won uh escape room.
Yep.
You won this, so this will be the third one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to give you $6. I need you to play lottery for me, and yeah, I need you not to steal the winnings when you win.
Just the lottery. You don't want me to go to like the casino or anything.
No, no, fuck that.
Casino's too
No,
big.
too big. The fact that people will see you celebrating all this other stuff, I don't need that because we're not announcing to the world that we won money. Fuck that. This is going to be the low key, just like, all right, we're going to keep working. Why you keep working? Because if you drop off the face of the planet too soon, people know. So you work for a year, you change your all of your you have all 100% of your money go to your 401k. 100%. You do that for a year, and then out of nowhere, just like, yo, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. I mean, you can hit them with the fuck this shit. I'm out. You can do that. It doesn't matter. You're a millionaire. No one knew. But pay off all your shit slowly. Get yourself a nice little lawyer, because people will try to sue you. You think I'm joking? I'm dead ass serious, bro. I already been contemplating if I ever won the lottery, what I would do. So,
Put a lot of thought into this.
dude, fuck it, dude. The day that it happens, first off, the day that it happens, no one would know the fact that I won. I will be one of those because Maryland is a state that you don't have to announce that you won the lottery.
Yeah, but it'll be all over the news or something.
No, the fuck it won't. Because basically, you don't go in immediately. You wait 4 weeks after. So first off, you don't claim that money immediately. That's what you don't do. Because they'll be waiting for people to go in to the office like, oh, did you win? Were you the winner? Were you the winner? No, no. You wait 3 to 4 weeks minimum to let it die down. You go in there, you claim it. Do you got no? We don't want to see no fucking picture. Just give her a go. And then at this point, the money is so high. We're like, all right, fine. We're gonna do the cash out. Um, I would have much rather been paid by the lottery for the rest of my days, but it's okay. What we're going to do now is we'll give the government their cut. So yes, I have put a lot of thought into this. So if I ever win the lottery, it's going to be like it's going to be amazing.
Alright, welcome back to Apartment Shenanigans, everyone. I'm Avery, and I'm here with Jason again.
Have at thee.
And it seems like Jason's going to become a regular guest star on this podcast whenever Ben's not around because, it's been a while since Ben's been around. Who knows when this episode's going to get uploaded. But,
I'll serve as a stand-in. I'm perfectly fine with that.
yeah, and Jason and I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp opening day? Opening day.
Opening day.
Opening day last Thursday. And we're just going to be talking about that. First impressions of the movie and everything, even though it's a few days after, similar to our Incredibles 2 episode. But, yeah, Jason, I had a few questions written out. Did you see those?
I did have a chance to peruse them ever so slightly, so yes. Um, so I mean, we could just dive right into it. So, of course, we will try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. And if it slips out, I am so sorry, but most likely it won't. Um, but overall, first question, overall movie experience, how was it? Um, I would actually rate it on a 1 to 10 scale as a solid 7 for me.
Like the whole movie experience in general? Like
The whole
everything?
whole movie experience in general. Even though the fact is in the the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it did actually was able to, I would believe, stand up as its own set apart movie, just like how Black Panther was. But is it as good as Black Panther? No. But I would still say it's a good, solid 7. I will actually say that it was better than the first Ant-Man that actually came out many years ago.
Yeah, I'll say it's definitely better than the first Ant Man, but I feel like comparing it to Black Panther is like really weird because Black Panther's like not even just talking about the movie itself. Like Ant Man feel like I was telling you this earlier. Ant Man feels a lot more grounded. Like it's only about Ant Man, and he's such an obscure character. When Black Panther, he was obscure, yeah, but he has this whole kingdom that he's a king of. I feel like that
So,
makes it a lot different.
yes and no. I mean, Black Panther was a character that was derived or at least created during the rise of the civil rights movement around the same time that the X-Men were created. So again, it was a comic book character that gave rise and at least gave some it highlighted some of the plights that black individuals were going through. Um, take and not taking anything away from that movie and actually and what that character stood for. I'm actually stating as a standalone movie, like how the fact that we've had Captain America Civil War, which was Avengers 2.3 or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Um, we've had the the failures of the Hulk movies, and we all can agree that the Hulk movies have been pretty abysmal for the most part. Like we can split hairs regarding the Edward Norton version, but overall the Hawk movies were not that productive, or at least viewed kindly in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as a standalone movie, I would say the fact that Ant-Man and Wasp, again, decent plot, introduction of a different character, different villain, different outcome of said of the plot itself. So it had a lot of twists and turns within it. Some that could be predicted, some were actually a nice little breath of fresh air. So that's one of the reasons why I stand by my 7.
Hmm. Well, even I don't know the Hulk movies, like the Incredible Hulk, the one with Edward Norton, I actually enjoyed, but that's not a popular opinion, so we don't need to go there.
I mean, look at me. I'm not the one for popular opinions. My favorite Marvel character is actually Hawkeye. Um, that's
Yeah, but that's
well,
that's like normal for you because you like your favorite Batman character is Robin because you think Batman takes the spotlight too much, right?
correct. So I do like the underdog character, and who's a better underdog than a character that is really really tiny,
Yeah,
pun
yeah,
intended.
I get that, but I don't know. Comparing it to, I feel like Black Panther, even comparing it to even the original Iron Man, the one that kind of started it all. I guess yeah, the Iron Man did start it all. I feel like compared Ant Man compared to Iron Man, like it was very different. Iron Man was so grounded, but there's still I don't know. There was the whole world, not world, city of New York, and everything else going on in that. When Ant Man is just what's going on in Ant Man's life, and that was it, and just his family you know about.
Well, it was trying to set itself apart again. It's taking place. Uh, I'm thinking of the timeline of exactly when this movie did transpire. So it is after Civil War. It is
Mm-hmm.
after the fallout of what actually happened when he was captured from Civil War, and
Right.
it's before we get to Thanos. So there is, it's not like the fact that the Thanos event or the Black Panther event all takes place a week after the Civil War. It's several months, if not years, after that time frame. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Black Panther. Black Panther was an amazing movie. I'm just stating as a standalone movie, which is a part of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's actually pretty good. Like again, we're I would like to throw it up and against the wall compared to Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Thor, what is it? What was that god
The
awful
Dark
one?
World.
Yes, Thor Dark World, and both of the Guardians in the Galaxy. So that's actually where I would like want to put this comparison to. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy has the potential to include several different characters um, outside the Earth realm, but still within the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm.
Um, where you have Thor, same thing. You have all of Asgard. You actually have the Nine Realms, which actually has all those other characters that actually can be incorporated within that. So yes, you can go back and forth and find all these different aspects in this entire world or centralized portion. But when it came to Ant-Man and Wasp, like yes, is much smaller, much condensed, is not as huge, and it is literally just his lives or their lives. However, it's also a twist on what the original characters were derived from. A lot of people actually know the original Hank Pym and his wife did not have the most pleasant relationship throughout the comic books and throughout some of the animated series that have been portrayed. And this movie does not touch on that.
Yeah, I don't know much about Ant Man in all honesty. Like, I know of the character and like origin story before the first one came out, but I don't know anything else really.
He was a bit of an abusive husband to his wife, um, Jane, Jane Penn
Hmm.
or Janet Penn. Janet actually very devoted wife. Hank always thought the fact that she was a little bit flirtatious every time that Tony came by, and that caused a bit of a riff. So he actually had probably you could probably call it penis envy. So the fact that like, well, why is his wife wants to go with this particular guy? Like I'm all the man that she ever could need. Look how big I can make myself.
Just what did they say in the trailer of the movie? When you're done finishing, when you're done finished comparing sizes, something like that.
That was actually a pretty good reference to that. Are you finished comparing? Like, yeah, yeah. How big can you go?
Like
35 feet. How
I,
big you?
I think he said like
65.
I think he said like 25 feet or something. He's like 65. He's like what?
What? It's like, yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
um. Okay, so you said overall, like the movie, you liked it. Like, so you
overall,
said,
overall, I had a pretty good feeling about the movie. Again, when when I'm throwing it up to that comparison, I'm not putting in the Black Panther, I'm not putting in the Civil War or Iron Man because those are pretty much your staples. Like basically, that's where all your blockbusters are going to go towards. Now, comparing it to Thor Ragnarok, Guardians
hmm
of the Galaxy 2, yeah, I put it right in the mix of those particular movies, simply because the
I
fact
get
that
that.
it had a ton of comedy within it. I laughed out loud more than 4 times. For an action-packed movie, like it literally had moments of comedy that I was just like, oh, that was pretty fun. That was clever. I like that. Um, which I got the same aspect from Thor Ragnarok, but
Oh,
I did
Thor
not.
Ragnarok was straight a comedy. Like I
Yeah,
laughed so much during that movie, which I thought that was funnier than Ant Man and the Wasp.
now, I would say the fact that there were a lot of different elements that were hilarious on Thor Ragnarok, and some elements that might went over some people's heads. But I believe the fact that it was a lot funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The My best moment from out of there were actually ruined by the spoilers, as well as Mary Poppins, y'all.
Spoilers, like just people posting things, or like the trailers.
I am Groot. I am Groot. I am
What
Groot.
with the
No,
the
that's the
whole
murder
button
button.
thing? Yeah. See,
Like that.
actually,
Go
going
ahead.
off topic a little bit, Guardians 2, I thought they focused too much on Baby Groot, trying to make him seem cute and funny. Like I wasn't really happy with that.
Um, a lot of that movie just kind of threw me off. One, Peter's dad being who they portrayed him to be. Not a fan of that. Again, that's me being fanboyish. I'm sorry, Marvel, but yeah, he made his father a planet, which has never been the case that I've been aware of. But it's now canon. It is now what it is. So yeah, Peter's dad is a planet.
Yeah,
Weird.
it was an
Um,
interesting movie, but I thought what they did really great was Peter's reaction when he found out that his dad was the one who put the tumor in his mom. Like his immediate, just complete shock of hearing that and just pulling his guns out with no hesitation, just shooting him because of his love for his mom. I thought that was really good.
well, that's It's more of a realistic approach that a character will take. However, it is also the flaw of that particular character as well.
Yeah.
Um, as we have, if anyone hasn't seen, is definitely the catalyst point for the latest Avengers movie. If it wasn't for that, we would not have the finger snap that has did a lot of things. Did
True,
a lot of
true.
things. So, what were your takes on the movie? Was it good? Was it bad? Indifferent?
I liked it. It was good, but it wasn't great.
Okay,
Like, basically the same exact thing I thought about the first Ant-Man. Like, I didn't see that one in theaters. I saw it just on DVD. But I laughed. It was cool. It was funny, but I wasn't blown away. Like, and it's not like it's also probably has a little to do with like my nostalgia, like my bias with some characters. Like Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character, and like seeing Homecoming, I loved it, and seeing him just even have a little cameo in Civil War was amazing. But yeah, it was just it was good. It was and
gotcha.
yeah, like I didn't come out of the theater thinking to myself, I really want to see that again. Like right now, I would maybe pay twice to see it in theaters, but when it comes out on DVD, I'll probably check it out again if I'm with some friends.
Okay. Um, goof for me, it was a good overall experience. It was worth, and actually, me personally, I had more hype for this movie than I did for the last Avengers.
Which is
And
so shocking to me.
the main reason why is because it was so widely publicized that basically this is the part one of part two, where basically you're going to be left with questions, wondering what happened, where do we go from here, and it's going to change the entire universe. So everyone goes in pre-blown that something big is going to happen, and then it kind of deflates the whole idea that basically, oh, I got to wait a year, 2 years to finally get a resolution of what's actually going to happen. And that's where I actually had a bit disconnect. Like, yes, they could have actually said, "All right, we have a 5 hour long movie. Psych, we're gonna give you the second half in a year."
Right. I
Like,
mean, that's
because
any part one to part two, any trilogy of movies that end up having a part one and two for the last movie. One, I hate that, but
but
I get that, but at the same time, like I watched zero trailers for Infinity War 2, so I didn't really know what to expect. I only knew what I knew from the comics too.
yeah, I mean, it was like, yes, it was foreshadowed the fact that yes, within a snap, everything will change. It was foreshadowed at the very beginning of the movie,
Right.
and the only the only shock that I actually had throughout the entire movie is actually the catalyst for how he acquired the Soul Stone. That was about it. Everything
Mm-hmm.
else was that, and some of the characters that actually um, did not, well, will not be technically starred cast in the sequel.
Right.
If that's the best way to phrase it, I'm guessing. Um, but yeah, yeah. So with that, like I came in with like, all right, so this is gonna be big and things are gonna happen, and oh, okay, oh, and then it was like, okay, all right, well, yeah, that was gonna happen. That was gonna. I was not expecting that. He just made so much money, and then how dare you steal that person's scene? That was ad libbed. That was all ad libbed. I appreciate it. It was amazing, but that was ad libbed.
Which part are you referring to?
Mr. Stark.
Okay.
I don't feel so good.
Yeah, I mean, the Kevin Feige said that that was the longest because it was impromptu, and they just went with it.
Yeah. Um.
But
So I digress because now we are tapering off from what this movie was to what the
MCU
pretty much,
was and
yeah.
Infinity
So
War.
let's get back on track. Where basically I believe our next question is, how was the movie's villain? The primary villain, I haven't even heard of that character before.
Neither have
Um,
I.
and how they actually portrayed that person was interesting. It's like Marvel took a Disney approach to it.
What do you mean by that? Well, Marvel is Disney, but
I know, and I said that specifically. Um, so thinking of the latest Disney animated films that have come out recently, where who you think is truly the villain doesn't necessarily come out to be the villain.
So just having like this little twist in the movie near the end with the villain, you're saying,
Correct.
and not really
Um,
even a twist, just more so sympathizing with the villain, maybe.
Giving it more of a actually, I said Disney as a reproach, but probably Daredevil is probably the best one for it. Daredevil, the Netflix version,
Mm-hmm.
when they talked about Kingpin and his arc, you empathize, you sympathize, and you understood that character. You understood exactly why he actually is doing what he's doing, and you're actually perfectly fine with him doing what he's doing in that fashion. So after, like, yeah, big bad person, this is that and the other, and then give him his backstory. Oh, damn. You know what? If he just wasn't, as ruthless and cutthroat as he was, he would actually be a superhero. But things happen.
Sadly, I actually have not seen Netflix's Daredevil.
You should be smacked in the mouth
I
twice.
haven't seen almost any of the Netflix shows. I started watching Jessica Jones and kind of just stopped in the middle of it. I know it's good. I know everything, or not everything, but I know people talk about it. It's just one of those shows I just haven't gotten to.
So, so wow,
Okay.
wow,
Hey,
wow,
hey, hey. Back to
wow.
Ant Man. Back to Ant Man.
Oh, this is a conversation for another. Oh man, oh, you have weeks to get yourself caught up. At least I can understand why not finishing Jessica Jones. I understand that entirely. Um, you didn't watch Luke Cage?
I wanted to watch everything as like when they came out, so
Oh,
like I was gonna watch it all, but then it just never happened.
oh. Okay. All right. I got you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's the hardest pill I had to swallow, man. That was. Oh, downside is that stuff is canon to the cinematic universe, bruh.
I do know about that, yeah. But obviously I'm not like out of the loop from not watching it, so we're all good.
Got it. Got it. Um, but yeah,
But
the villain that's in this movie was actually you can sympathize with. You understood their plight. Um, and like yeah, in a sense, turned out to be a little weak, somewhat. I mean,
mhm,
still very dangerous already, but not what you would consider your typical villain.
right. I mean I would say the same thing, and even like Ant Man and the Wasp, they actually had a few twists in it when it came to villains. I'm not gonna say what, but like you did question some characters more than once. And I think they did a really good job with that. But I I don't know. The concept of the villain was really cool, and I even mentioned like when we were in the theater that the design of the villain. I'm not sure how what they look like in the comics and everything, but they look just like a hunter from Destiny,
They did.
which like it was cut and paste. Like they did not care about ripping that off at all, and yeah, it was terrible. And I think I even googled like Hunter versus Ant Man 2 or something, and like it's up there. People know about it. But then also their backstory and their powers and the way they had to control what they were doing. It was just like Tracer from Overwatch, like same exact concept.
So interestingly enough, that concept of that ghost, Destiny ripped off of Marvel.
Really? So it did come first?
Yeah, created creative liberties, but I can see where their original design and concept came from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then based upon that, I can see how it migrated or changed. So maybe not as many. So yes, the extra opticals. So what the four opticals that you will probably see is not traditional. Is more along the lines of two or three. Um, but outside of that, yeah, they took some creative liberties, but it's still yeah. when you go to search, you're like, oh, okay. I think that's what you're probably doing right now.
Yeah, I am looking it up right now.
But character was created in 1987. Um, but I believe, was it actually a guy
Like in the
in the comics? I believe the original person who played the character was, oh no, never identified,
okay,
but suggested that it was a male.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like that was. I do like it when I do go see a Marvel movie. They have an obscure villain that I just haven't heard about because I get to enjoy it without somewhat knowing what may or may not happen. Which they actually did like a really good job with Spider-Man: Homecoming with that as well. Like just from the movie itself, you might be able to guess who the relations to the characters are, but from the comics, not so much.
I will state the fact that they have learned their lesson from what they did with Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't want to make that mistake again. And I heard they might even bring the Mandarin back, like the actual Mandarin. So who knows?
Well, I mean, they can probably give it a redemption arc because what they did the first time was just horrible. It was abysmal. It was like, we're going to make a villain who's not really a villain at all.
So what did you think about like all the action in the movie? Like I know definitely like my favorite scene was it was like one of the car chases and Ghost like did like a little side jump and phased through a truck and then kicked people inside that truck or the other car next to it. I thought that was like one of the coolest ones.
That was an amazing scene, but I enjoyed um Wasp's introduction as a fighter.
Okay,
That entire scene, despite the fact half of it was in the commercial previews, was
that's why you
still an
skip
amazing.
trailers.
Yep, it was an amazing fight sequence from beginning to end. And mind you, it was a long fight sequence. If you actually think about it, it was probably the longest sequence throughout the entire movie because it was her coming back, her doing her thing, and then introduction of the villain, all within the same fight.
Yeah, and definitely he's like you don't see him. Does she fight in the first movie at all?
No, you don't really actually see her. Like you never see her actually don the suit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty surprising. Like they tease that at the end, but that's for this movie.
Yeah. I mean, again, to give her all of those abilities and then to allow her to pretty much do all that work um, in this cinematic universe, it was actually pretty amazing. Even alluding to if she was there at the Civil War fight, how the outcome would possibly be different.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was actually a pretty good nod. But what about that truth serum though?
The what's that character's name? I don't even know the actor's name, but I love him. The guy just anyone who's listening, the guy who just talks super fast and from the first movie he explained like all the exposition, but it was it was a huge exposition dump, but it done in such a well planned way, which I don't know how. Like, what they just voice over his voice on the characters, and it just makes it so funny.
It was. I would probably say it's the funniest sequence in the entire movie.
Yeah, like
Um,
definitely our theater like started cracking at the second it happened.
it was like, oh well, I'm gonna allow you to. I'm gonna take you back. Let me take you on this journey, and whew, that was a journey. That itself is probably worth watching this movie. Um, um, and Avery, you could probably piggyback on this one, but the fact that it was like, you know what, I wasn't feeling this movie at all, but that good 2 minute sequence of explaining everything, worth it, totally worth it.
I mean,
Not
especially
worth.
if you're a fan of the first movie and like you loved that part of it too.
It was it's just it was just amazing. The fact that uh, the amount of information he's actually able to provide in such a diarrhea form, and I do. It's just coming out. So it's like a bukkake of information. It's just bad.
Yeah, they definitely do a good job with that character. And like even when I saw the first movie, I was so shocked to see Ti in it. I was like, what is he doing in the movie? And like even his character is not bad. And like they don't overplay his character at all or underplay him. Like I think they do all the side characters like just right.
um, so we've already mentioned this, but more references to Civil War.
Did they mention why he wasn't in Infinity War? Was that like the whole plot? Like because he's on like barely any spoilers at all. He was on like house arrest for 2 years because after getting arrested in Civil War,
Yep,
and like that's why he wasn't in Infinity War.
that would be because he, well, he should have been actually out because he did. That's the one part that actually doesn't make
Oh
any
yeah,
sense.
you're right. Because like kind of like yeah, I
Yeah,
got you.
but the part that makes no sense is the fact that Cap went back to go get everybody. So if he went back to go get everybody, why was he still somewhat captured? Why is he on house arrest? That's the one part that that does not make sense in lines to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Maybe because when Cap went to go get everyone, he just said, "I want to spend time with my daughter," because like he does put his family first, at least his daughter first.
He
And if
does.
he was going to be with Cap, then he would be on the run the whole time and not be able to see her.
That is a what if. Now there could have been a better explanation for that. Mind you, it's this is your movie to explain those things.
True.
And it could have been a deleted scene that was cut out of the movie due to time editing. However, and mind you, this movie did not actually have any nods to any of the other Avengers. You did not see them cast at all in this movie.
Yeah, they only ever like mention Cap once, and that's it.
So could it be that? But again, an explanation of why could have actually helped out along the lines of how did Falcon, because Cap was already gone. Cap was already out. Who else got caught? Um,
Vision and Wanda.
yeah, but they, but well, no, Vision and Wanda.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I'm just trying to, I'm trying to recall who was actually in that base. Who was literally in that base for them to be broken out from? And
And
I
wait,
do
real
remember
fast.
Falcon.
When was the last time Hawkeye's been in a movie? Has it been since Avengers 2?
Um, he was in, yeah, he was in Avengers 2. I don't think he was in. Was he in Civil War?
Oh yeah, he was in Civil War. Okay, but he was only in the air the
He was
airstrip fight.
he was that, and he was on the farm, wasn't he?
I
Like
think
when they went.
the farm was Avengers 2 when you meet his family.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because that's when like you kind of see hints of Tony and Cap kind of arguing a little bit, and it was I remember specifically it was Age of Ultron, and then that's the same movie. Hawkeye's talking to Wanda, and it's like we're fighting aliens on a floating island, and I have a bow and arrow.
That part I remember. I just thought the fact that the family scene. Um, no, you're right. You're right. It was Avengers 2. However, as soon as you pull Hawkeye out of a movie, that's when Thanos happens. So all you got to do is put him back. We would have never had this problem. He
But
would just shot a
even
bow and arrow to the face. It would have been done.
and they're hinting at not hinting at, but there's like leaked pictures of him dressed as Ronin. So that's a thing.
Well, that did happen, and he was one of the persons who was supposed to take up the mantle if Cap ever went down.
What were you saying? I don't know.
We're referencing
Ronin.
basically Ronin, um, and how badass that Hawkeye is. Just a FYI, everyone, Hawkeye is badass. He is the only one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who has been able to take out the Hulk permanently.
Yeah, but it's kind of cheating.
Was it cheating though? Banner
Kind
asked
of.
him to do it. Banner asked him to do it.
Yeah, but Banner also tried killing himself, and that didn't happen.
Yep,
He spit the bullet out.
yep. But not if you don't know what's coming.
Yeah. So, do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp was it better than the original Ant-Man?
I would say that it was better than the original Ant-Man.
I
I I enjoyed it.
I
Go
go
ahead.
on. You got it.
Um, the original movie focused on the second person who was ever donned the suit for Ant-Man, um, without really touching on any of the pre-elements. So basically, it was hard to actually understand where this character was coming from and where Marvel wanted to go with it. I understood that they were like, all right, cool, we have this idea, we have this concept, but we're not going to make the star Hank Pym. We're actually going to make it, God, I can't remember his name right now. Um,
I have no idea.
this is how, yeah, this is bad. The
That
fact that
that
we do not do
that
not
just
know the name.
shows. And
Um,
you're gonna go ahead and Google it.
yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and look that up real quick because yeah, that was not good. Um, that was pretty bad. Scott Lang. Um,
Scott Lang.
Scott Lang actually within, if I'm not mistaken, he was the Yellow Jacket. No, he's actually the second man who actually donned the Ant Man suit, and Hank Pym, interestingly enough, became
Yellow
the Yellow
Jacket.
Jacket. That's actually how it worked in the
And
cinematic universe. I mean, not in the
um,
cinematic, but in the
comics. In
comics.
the comics, didn't Hank Pym? He was also the one who created Ultron, and not Tony and
Y-
Bruce.
yes, that is also correct.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely the MCU is its own adaptation of it all. So they're doing a good job, and like it definitely like gets people interested in all the other comics that they're probably not reading because people don't like to read, including myself most of the time.
It's like reading. What's that? Oh, it's fundamental.
But yeah, I would say it was better than the first one. Do you what's it called?
Where does it rank for me?
That, but I was actually gonna ask you about the end credit scene, but we actually kind of already talked about that
Yeah.
because
Anything else would be more or less giving away some key elements. So,
yeah,
um,
we'll let that slide.
I mean, but that drum though, that drum solo.
That drum solo was pointless, and I was talking about this movie's end credit scenes with someone, and now they're like, "Oh, the first one was kind of stupid, but the second one was like mind-boggling." And I was like, "What was the first one again?" Like I forgot it because it was so pointless.
Wait, what was the first one in credit scene?
It was the ant drumming. That was it.
No, 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 no. I mean the first, I thought you meant the first Ant Man, not Ant Man and Wasp.
Oh no, yeah, Ant-Man and Wasp. The first one was the ant, and
Oh,
then
oh,
the
yeah,
second
yeah,
one
but
that was boom.
yeah, that drum solo though, that drum solo. Like, I wanted to pull out my rock band drum set after seeing that. It felt so
I mean,
good.
it did kind of make me want to play Guitar Hero Rock Band, so I will give it that.
Um, but yeah, interesting end credit scene. Not as funny as the other portions of the movie, but yeah, it was something.
It did
Um,
what it had to do.
Overall ranking of this movie, 1 to 10. Again, I said a solid 7. What would you actually rate it? Rate it?
I think I told you this after we saw it. I'll say 6.5 to 7,
Got it. Um,
which sounds kind of bad, but no, I don't. I like I said, I liked it. I thought it was good. Just it wasn't like amazing for me.
got it. And what's our top 5 MCU movies? Or is it in my top 5? No, and it's not even. It's not in the top 5. It's not in the lower 5. So it is literally smack dab in the middle. Um,
Okay.
I mean, top 5. You're going to be looking at Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Avengers movie, probably first Guardians of the Galaxy is somewhere within the top, either top 5 or top within the top 7. But yeah, it doesn't break that list, and it's not along the lines of the worst of the worst. So
Yeah, I mean, I would say to my top five will probably be Homecoming.
of course, of
Of
course,
course, Homecoming's in there. Infinity
he's
War, I
he's
really
a rented
enjoyed.
character. He's not even, he's rented.
Shh. They
You
still
can't
got
even.
him. They
You
got
still
him.
can't. You can't dent him. You can't injure it because you have to give him back.
It's gonna be fine. He's gonna stay, and then Sony's gonna probably flop with Venom, and then they're gonna be like, "Okay, Marvel, you got it. Just give us money with you." That's what's gonna happen. But probably like Homecoming, Infinity War I really liked. Civil or not Civil War, Winter Soldier. After that I'm not sure.
Civil War? You mean Avengers 2.3?
I was talking to someone and like even like Civil War I really liked, and just because of the plot being so convoluted and so many things having to go right, I don't think I would put it that high. But it's I'm also biased just because it was the movie that introduced Spider-Man 2, and I thought that was amazing. And the brief introduction they did with him, with so many people already knowing his character from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's, like I thought they did a good job with that.
I will actually say the fact that the tie-in they put in for Homecoming was probably the best thing I've ever seen Marvel do.
What do you mean? Just like
Literally for how they tied in Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man from the ending of Civil War into his own movie.
oh god, oh yeah, yeah, with him like vlogging himself fighting Ant-Man and everyone.
That to basically him getting dropped back off in New York, and then basically Tony telling him, "Hey, just stay your local neighborhood Spider-Man. Help out people, old ladies cross the street, things like that. But yeah, nothing too big."
Yeah, they did a good job. I really like what they're doing with Tom Holland, and Tom Holland I think is probably the best Spider-Man we have. Like,
He just needs to he needs to be put into a box in a room in a dark corner after he finished filming because he gives away too many of his secrets.
I mean, they know that though, so they like give him things to spoil. Except for I think Infinity War. I think he went to like a panel or something after the movie, after before people saw the movie, and he walks up onto the stage and just says, "It's okay, everyone, I'm alright," and no one saw the movie yet, and then he was like, "Oh," so like yeah, he's pretty bad with that, but to the point where they play that into like their marketing for the next movies too.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He's actually one of the best Spider-Man. Actually, I think he is the best Spider-Man.
I think so too. Like, so like just like a quick review of the Spider-Mans. I thought Tobey Maguire, he was a good nerdy Spider-Man. You saw that he was a nerd and he got bullied, and when he put the mask on, he wasn't exactly the quirky, funny, joke throwing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, he had everything down when he had the mask on, but I thought he was a little too cocky, and when he was out of the suit, he was too much of a cool skater kid. But Tom Holland, I think he's like a perfect middle ground. He's dirty, doesn't know how to talk to girls, but he's really funny, quirky, and it's just a nice little parallel and nice, good in between for all the Spider-Mans that they've done.
Yeah, we have to agree. Well, I think that is all of our questions for the Ant-Man and Wasp, and we got a good 45 minutes actually talking about this film.
I honestly don't know how long this has been, but this feels like it's been a decent amount, so we'll cut it here.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Everyone who's listening, thank you again. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, AnyPod, and hopefully Spotify soon. And Jason, thank you for coming on again when Ben couldn't, but Ben will be on hopefully an episode soon. And for everyone who is listening, hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. But we'll talk to you guys in the next one.
Have at thee. Peace.
See you.